Hey there, this is Joel with Zoom.ai. I'm customer success here. I'm with my colleague Kamal.
Hey, I'm Komal. I'm the head of operations here, and we're really happy to show you around our platform today.
Yeah, we're really excited that you're considering us as one of your vendors. Basically, the way this will work, we'll just give you a high-level overview of how to schedule a meeting through the web application, things like meeting types, and then what your candidates will see. We'll also take you through the Outlook plugin just to see how that works and the chat functions that are involved in that. So I'll just share with my screen with you quickly. So here's how the application looks on the back end. The dashboard's really simple. One click to schedule a meeting. Here you can create those meeting types that are very powerful. So for example, if you're a recruiter, you want to set up that 30-minute intro call versus a more in-depth call with a hiring manager that's on location. You can set up those different meeting types here. On the right-hand side, you can set up your day, or you can look at those pending invitations that you've sent out, which is a very powerful function for recruiters, basically staying on top of those invitations. But the real power comes into setting up these custom meeting types. So here you can see I have a host of different meeting types. And like I said, it can be different for those intro calls versus down the line, those on location interviews. But let's go into one of these meetings that I've created here. You can create the meeting title. So for example, again, that 30-minute phone screen. Once I create that, I'll create a PSL or a personalized scheduling link. It's a very powerful tool which allows your candidates or any external to one click into your calendar. So for example, this is what they'd see. Bring them up and they can put their full name and email address. Here you can put meeting instructions. So for example, if this is an intro call, a very simple 30-minute screen call, I'll put those instructions. Hey, thanks for your interest in X company. This will be a quick 30-minute call. Please be prepared with your resume or something like that. This is very important too at the bottom. Once you create this meeting type, it'll actually show you how to interact with your meeting assistant to pull up this particular meeting type. So if I want to have a sales demo, I just have to say schedule sales demo with X next week or tomorrow. So that functionality I'll show a little bit later when it comes to the Outlook plugin. Availability, here you can set your availability window. So for example, if you have your screen calls in the morning versus conferencing in the afternoon, you can change that window, change the duration. You can put a lead time. So it's this really cool functionality. Basically, it's the minimum amount of time that someone can book a meeting with you. So for example, it's 2:32 here in Toronto. If I set my lead time for 2 hours, it means that if I send out a PSL, they won't actually be able to book anything until 4:32. Here at the bottom, we have a host of different collective options that you can include into your meeting type. You can have members included into your availability. So these are people that are within your corporate account. So for example, if you have a hiring manager that both of you need to meet with a candidate, you can use that to overlap your availability and the candidate can see kind of one slot. One of the big things we work on is not only making your job easier as a recruiter or sales, but also having a great candidate or external experience. So instead of going back and forth trying to find a good time for you and the hiring manager and the external, it just gives you visibility into both you and the hiring manager. You can also omit your availability. So if you're doing on behalf, so for example, if I'm booking on behalf of a hiring manager and an external, I can click that option and I'll still have visibility into when the meeting is taking place, but it won't take away from my calendar and I can still book over those meetings.
We also came in with this amazing functionality called Round Robin today. So essentially what that does is it distributes your availability among team members. So if you have 3 hiring managers and you have an interview for a candidate, and any of those 3 hiring managers can basically be in that interview and conduct that interview, the candidate will be able to pick any of their times, and that interview will go through with one of the 3.
So I'm just going to leave it to have collective, but omitting my availability just for this particular meeting type that I'm creating. Last but not least is location and conferencing. So here you can put a phone number if for example, this meeting type is that short 30-minute screen call versus a physical location if it's down the line and it's an on-location interview. You can also attach your video conferencing. So we host Zoom US, Google Hangouts, WebEx, GoToMeeting. So whatever you use for your video conferencing, you can attach to any meeting types. So let's go ahead and try to schedule a meeting with that particular meeting type. So let's choose a couple of internals, Kamal, Roy, and we'll just choose an external. So this is just my external email.
And I also kind of wanted to bring to attention these contacts. So the way that our machine learning works is that it understands and learns your contact strength relationships. So basically the people that you either schedule meetings with the most, or the people that you interact with the most via email and those kinds of things. So it'll always pick the right Komal or the right Roy or the right Haley, for example, here. It'll make sure that that meeting is booked without you having to second guess whether it's going to the correct contact or not.
And basically, we grab these contacts with whatever you integrate into Zoom AI. So, for example, your calendar, your email, your ATS, your CRM. So they live outside of that. You can easily add a contact. But if we already have the people that we need within the meeting, we can go ahead and press next. Here you can see all the meeting details. At the top here is where you select those particular meeting types that you've created. So let's go to that sales demo. You can see that the system is dynamically changing the different settings for that. And within this particular meeting, I can change it even more. So say I need it in 2 weeks next week. Let's do for next week. I can change the hours, the title, the duration. If your company does room booking, so you need to book a room for certain interviews, we also host that as well. So a room will automatically be booked as soon as this meeting goes through. I can also add a meeting agenda. So this is different than those meeting settings I was talking about. This is specific to this meeting I'm about to send out. So for example, if it's something personal I want to put to that candidate, I can do that as well. If everything checks out, I can go ahead and press next. Your assistant's going to let me know about the duration, the time, and the invitees. Check that over. If everything checks out, go ahead and press send. You do have the option to get CC'd into all the invitations that you send out. So you can see here that Ava is automatically updating me on all the invitations that they send out. So there's Kamal, there's Roy. So let's go into that external. So this is what an external person would see. You can see here the meeting details. The assistant is fully customizable, so you can put whatever assistant you'd like and any signature. Let's click into this. So this is what the candidate or the external will actually be seeing themselves. It'll populate the organization, all those details. It'll have the attendees and the duration, things like that. You can also customize those meeting agenda that I was talking about before. But because this is a group algorithm, we actually give, first of all the weight on externals or candidates. So whatever they choose is very much weighted higher versus internals or people within your corporation. We also give them different options to choose from. So for example, say Monday from 1 to 1:30 works for me, but let's say on Tuesday I have some time from 3:30 to 4. You can see that the system is automatically generating that. So I can keep choosing up to 8 slots, whatever as a candidate I have time for, which is a great feature because it just makes sure that one of those slots is going to be picked. So once I confirm that, it's going to send out the invitation and book the meeting. If I go back to my Zoom AI application under completed, I can see here that the meeting's already been completed, that external has chosen 3 times, and the meeting is set for Monday at 1. So if I go back to my calendar, here for Monday, you can see that invitation's actually already been sent out. So here are the internals, and here's that one external. And if you remember, for that particular meeting type, I chose to omit my availability. So I still have visibility into when the meeting's happening, but it's not actually taking away time from my calendar. So someone can still book over it, but I still have visibility into when that's happening. So if we go back to the web application, another feature I wanted to show you was tasks. So this is where you can monitor those pending invitations that you send out. Zoom AI does a great job of automatically sending notifications in a very organic fashion, but say I need this invitation to be booked within this week, I can send a manual reminder. Just a great way to have visibility into those meetings that are still pending and also make sure that they get booked by sending reminders. We also have great features in terms of people insights. So let's say I click into one of the people that I'm about to meet with. This is our CEO, Roy. Basically, it pulls information based on their email that they have attached with the contact that we have within Zoom AI. So it'll aggregate information based on social media, past companies, things like that. So you can see personality, organizations. If they live within a CRM or an ATS, it'll pick that up as well.
And just to clarify that the information is attached to these emails and that it's publicly available information. So from a security standpoint, you're not crossing any barriers.
Yep. Aside from that, we have tons of integrations that you get into. So really anything that you can think of in terms of integrations. We also have Zapier for those kind of more in-depth integrations that you have. So we have a host of different integrations, and it's just a great way to have those contacts live within Zoom.ai.
Yeah, and we do have 60 plus different integrations, but they're direct integrations, so our architecture is amazing, and we can integrate really fast into different types of platforms as long as they have a publicly available API.
So what I'll do now is just take you through that Outlook plugin. So here's where it lives. So this is what your Outlook would usually look like. It'll just be in any of those other host and kind of add-ons that you have living within it. So it'll just pop up, and you can chat with it how you chat with any person, really. I can just say hi, and it'll give you a response. We've done a lot of work in terms of natural language and how you can interact with the meeting assistant. So say I want to do meeting with Komal. First of all, it's going to recognize the Komal that I'm talking about because she's the one that I usually always talk to and schedule meetings with. So I can go ahead and modify that or send that out. But really, what's really amazing is if we go back to the web application, when we were creating these different meeting types, it'll actually tell you how to talk to your assistant when you're actually scheduling. So if I want to pick this particular meeting type to schedule the meeting with, all I got to say is schedule sales demo with Komal. So if we go back to the assistant and I say schedule sales demo with Komal, the assistant's going to automatically know that I'm talking about that particular meeting type. You can see here at the top that the title is sales demo, and I'll have those settings that I've already set up on the back end of the web application. So in general, that's a very whirlwind tour of the application, basically setting up your different meeting types, how to schedule a meeting through the web application. And it's very easy to do that on the Outlook plugin as well. You can schedule meetings, you can schedule those meeting types, you can queue the calendar, you can look up people insights. And yeah, that's basically, I think, all of it.
Yeah, I just also want to bring your attention to the new features and functionality. So we're going to come up with an on behalf. We're also looking down the product roadmap to do chain meetings, which are like the consecutive meetings that you have in terms of recruitment meetings or even sales for that matter. Just also want to give you a bit of a snippet in terms of how we're different from any of the other scheduling tools. We do have AI power backing us. We do have a ton of features and functionalities, and we have a really agile team. So we're able to build integrations and features really, really, really quickly as compared to some of the other solutions out there. And I know that Sarah mentioned something about Calendly, but we've kind of tested our features out with them, and they're really great for those first one-on-one meetings. But we make sure that your entire recruiting funnel is taken care of in terms of not just the first meeting, but also all of the follow-on meetings that happen after that with collective, round robin, and everything else that we have out there.
Just the last thing too, we do have a pricing promotion going on for the fall, so you can get our plans half off. Usually it's $25 per user per month for the corporate plan, but we'll actually have it on for $13. On top of that, we also have yearly pricing that can give you an additional discount. So if you sign up for a year, we only charge you for 10 months. And for the corporate side of things, so for that corporate plan, we also include bulk discounts. So past, I think, 10 or 15 people, the price reduces per user. That being said, if you do have hiring managers that you add to the back end, and they're not really scheduling meetings, they're more for having their calendar available, we can definitely work with you guys, not charging you for having those hiring managers, just for those active power users that are doing the scheduling on the back end.
So that's about it.
That's everything for us.
And if you do have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer those for you as well.
Yeah, in this email, you can just reply to me, or you can click on my PSL to have a follow-up meeting. We'd love to have that as well.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, guys, and hope to hear from you soon.
Bye.
Bye now.